Get that fucking trash out of your life. You have legacies to build. We grew that business from 3.4 million to 17.1. Horsepower, not horse shit. You want to be the parent that's an ally. They don't need another fucking friend. Not everybody's cup of whiskey. Toughest advice for the toughest businessmen. Be relentless. When I was younger, I wanted to be rich and invisible. I wanted to be rich and I wanted to be invisible. I had no interest in being known. I had no interest in being famous. I wanted to be wealthy and I wanted to make my money in the dark. I'm just going to show you something here that I was reminded of yesterday. Is what have I got in the good old Escalade? I've been doing this for a number of years, and I don't know if you can see there. So for the last 19 years, I have been carrying around this. Not some t-shirts. There's the new badass t-shirts, by the way, with the military font on it. Hashtag badass with the military font. I get those done. You get a free one of those when you buy my book at nobullbook.com, you get a free t-shirt. nobullbook.com when you buy one of these books. How to not get your ass kicked in business and in life. My 25 rules for badass millionaire businessmen and entrepreneurs. It's a book about rules for men that hate rules. So you can also get one of these t-shirts if you subscribe to my monthly Michael McLean newsletter, badassletter.com. So I'm showing you the trunk of my vehicle, and in this box, my badass bitch in charge, Leanne, sent this box to me a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and it contains dozens and dozens of copies of books. And this is something that I have been doing for the last almost 20 years in business, is passing out books wherever I go. So when I was younger, I wanted to be rich and I wanted to be invisible. And I struggled for a long time. I wasn't able to really make any real money. I wasn't able to scale my business. I wasn't able to make any traction in my niche markets. And I looked around and I saw all the greats, all the multi-millionaires, the billionaires, the entrepreneurs' names that you and I both know. And all of them had one thing in common. They all had one thing in common that I did not. They were in the self-aggrandization business. As the late, great copywriter, the Prince of Print, Gary Halbert once said, he said, I'm not in the copywriting business. I'm not in the marketing business. I'm in the self-aggrandization business. I'm in the self-promotion business. I'm in the marketing of Gary Halbert business. And after I read that quote and gave it some long and deep thought, I realized that the one ingredient that was missing in all of my ventures was I was trying to be invisible. I was trying to promote my company, market my company, advertise my company, sell my products by being invisible. I just wanted it to be about the product. I just wanted to be about the thing that I was selling. I just wanted to be the doer of the thing. In fact, I was very naive and thought that, well, if I'm the best insurance agent, or if I'm the best window washer, or if I'm the best dentist, or if I'm the best hockey coach, or if I'm the best franchise owner, sports franchise owner, then the marketplace is going to recognize that, and I'll be the richest, I'll be the wealthiest. And that's the mistake that 99% of entrepreneurs make, thinking that the doing of the thing, that the product or the service that you sell is the difference between winning and losing. When it's important, but it is not even close to being the most important thing when it comes to massive wealth, to making money, to running a profitable business, to earning 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures and above. All of those people are in the self-promotion business. They're all in the marketing business. And as Halbert said, they're all in the self-aggrandization business. The promotion of their importance. That's what that means. The importance of their value and their importance to the client and prospect. So, when I finally came to grips and I used the principle, Napoleon Hill's principle of accurate thinking, I finally realized that if I was going to make any money, if I was going to become financially independent, if I was ever going to achieve a safe harbor position in any business that I was in, I needed to be in the marketing of that business. So I had to be in the self-aggrandization business, the self-promotion of my importance, the self-promotion of my value. I could never, ever, ever be in the insurance business. I could never be in the barbershop business. I could never be in the hockey business. I could never be in the real estate business. I would have to be in the self-promotion business, the marketing business. And it's interesting, with the thousands and thousands of small business owners that I've worked with over the last decade, there's 2 types of entrepreneur. There's the entrepreneur that is the doer of the thing. The dentist that drills teeth, the chiropractor that adjusts people, the retail store owner who runs the store, the consultant who does the work personally, the restaurant owner who is the doer of the thing. And most of these people are also in love with their own product and service. When they market, when they send an email, when they shoot a video, when they create a sales page, when they write a newsletter, it's all about the product and service. Well, we have the best pizza in the city. We have the cheapest rates in the city. I'm the best dentist in the county, this kind of thing. I'm the best, insurance agent. They're the practitioner. They're the practitioner. They drill the teeth. They adjust the person. They sell the insurance policy. They make the pizza. And the problem with this mindset and behavior is that there's a ceiling on your income. You end up with a high-paying job at best, in a lot of cases a low-paying job, and you're trapped in your own self-made prison. You got into business. Why did you get into business? You got into business the same reason I got into business: to be your own boss, to serve other people, to get independently rich, and to put yourself and your family in a position of personal sovereignty, where you get to live life and do business on your own terms. You're after freedom. You're after control. You're after independence. You want to make money. You want to be in great health, and you want to have the best relationships. But you got into business to be your own boss, to be your own man, to have control of your destiny. But that's long gone for 99% of businessmen and entrepreneurs, because they're the practitioner, they're the doer of the thing. And when you're the doer of the thing, when you sell the policies, when you cut the hair, when you make the steak dinners, when you fix the floors, you're limited to your time. No matter how hard you work, there's only 24 hours in a day. And the practitioner who's in love with their products and services eventually falls in and builds what I call a Frankenstein business, where literally they wear the golden handcuffs 7 days a week, 365. They're always on their phone, they're working Saturdays, they're working Sundays, they're working holidays. When you're at home, you feel guilty that you're not at work. When you're at work, you feel guilty that you're not at home. The golden handcuffs of the practitioner. The entrepreneur who is the doer of the thing. The entrepreneur who is in love with their products and services. They talk about their product and services. They talk about the actual product and the service they provide. So this type of approach to business leaves you with a ceiling, which means that a dentist, as an example, that drills teeth, he sees 7, 10, 15 patients a day. He does the physical labor. He talks about his products and his services. He's going to make $55,000. He's going to make $65,000. He's going to make $75,000. He could even make, if he's a hard worker, he could make himself $100K a year, maybe even a little more. But still, there's the ceiling. You can't scale it. He can't make any real money. So what does he have at $100K? What does he have at $85K? He's got a high-paying job. And what does job stand for? Just over broke. And he has to show up every day. And if anything happens, if he gets sick or something happens to a family member, or he can't work, then what happens? The cash flow and the income disappear, because it's all dependent, or at least most of it's dependent, on him showing up and drilling teeth. So there's your, good morning. There's your 85,000, there's your 100,000, whatever it is, Frankenstein business. And after years of seeing 10 people a day, 15 people a day, every 20 minutes, that would just wear me out. I did that in the insurance business for 1 year, where people would come into my office and get a quote or have a service issue, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, all through the day. By the end of the day, I was absolutely fatigued. I was just exhausted from being around people and their issues and their problems and their black clouds and their small little grievances. I couldn't imagine doing that for more than a year. I could not imagine doing that for a decade, 4 decades, 5 decades. Man, that is wearing the golden handcuffs. When you shift your mind into the big leagues, like I did, and you get in the self-promotion business, you get in the marketing business, you become the marketer of the thing. You're no longer the doer of the thing. You're no longer the practitioner. You no longer talk about having the best mousetrap. Well, we have the best pizza. We have the best insurance policies. We have the best flooring. We have the best car wash. We have the best candles. We have the best butchery shop. When you get out of the normal, look at me, I'm the same as everybody else business, okay? Look at me, I'm the same as everybody else, and you get into the, what Halbert said, the self-aggrandization business, the self-promotion business, the importance business, and you become the marketer of the business, everything shifts for you. Everything changes when you take on the mindset of a badass world builder. All of a sudden you carry a case of books in the back of your SUV. All of a sudden, every place you go, every time you run into a potential qualified client, underlying qualified, you gift them a book. Doesn't matter if it's a Dunkin' Donuts, doesn't matter if it's at a restaurant, dropping your kid off at math class, at the library, at the theater, at tennis. My books are everywhere in Naples. My books are everywhere in Naples that my top 5% prospect would be. So I'm not just spraying and praying and wasting time and money. I'm handing these books to elite men, and in some cases, some elite women. And it changes everything. Like for the last 19 years in the insurance business and now in the coaching and consulting business, I did this in the barbershop business as well. I did it in the hockey business. The first thing I do whenever I enter an industry is I anoint myself the number one person in that industry, period, in the country. So I didn't wait around in the barbershop business for 40 years for somebody to come up and say, Michael, you're number one. When I was in the insurance business, I didn't wait around for 40 years for somebody to anoint me as the number one agent, the expert, the celebrity, the most respected, the most referred, the most talked about. I didn't wait for any of that. In the insurance business, I didn't wait around for somebody to say 15 years later, well, you're the best team owner, you're the best coach. The same thing in the coaching and consulting space. I didn't wait around to be anointed. Somebody to tap me on the shoulder and say, Michael, you're now the greatest. I immediately was in the self-aggrandization business, the marketing business, the self-promotion business. And in all those industries that I just mentioned, what was the very first thing that I did to leapfrog all of the competition at the bottom? It's not lonely at the top. It's just less crowded. It's not lonely at the top. It's just less crowded. So what did I do to literally leapfrog, as the great Robert Ringer said in his amazing book, How to Win Through Intimidation. That was it, How to Win Through Intimidation. I wrote a book. When I got in the insurance business, the first thing I did when I bought my dad's agency, I wrote a book. Actually, 2 books in the insurance agency. What's the first thing I did when I became a marketing coach? I wrote a book. What's the first thing I did when I opened up the barbershop? I never held scissors in my hand. Never so much as cut hair. Never. I wrote a book. What did I do when I entered the hockey business? Started publishing a newsletter, published free reports, put them into a binder and called it a book. It was a self-published book. Every single industry I've been in the last 20 years, the first thing I've done is become a self-published author. And what do you think that does to my positioning? When people say, oh, well, Michael wrote a book on barbering. Michael wrote a book on sports. Michael wrote a book on insurance. Michael wrote a book on marketing and consulting. Do you think that immediately moves me to the very top of the food chain? You better bet your ass it does. I become automatically the most talked about, most referred, and most respected blank in the country. And I get to wear the black hat villain hat. I get to become public enemy number 1 to my competitors. So you have to get okay with having people that you're competing with you be envious and jealous of your ambition. How did he write a book? He doesn't know how to write a book. What's in that book? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Millions and millions and millions of dollars later, it really doesn't matter what a competitor or somebody who's never going to bring you money thinks. The critics, the haters, the doubters, the non-believers, they don't get a vote. So I write a book and I leapfrog the herd at the bottom. And then I position myself as the most expensive, most important, most powerful person in that industry. In the barbershop business, we're the most expensive. In the insurance business, we never ever had the best rates. In the consulting business, I'm one of the most expensive consultants, highest charging consultants on the planet. In the hockey business, the first thing I did was raise all of our prices. Corporate prices, sponsorship prices, season ticket prices. I wanted to be the most expensive in the entire league, which we were. So being in the marketing business, being in the self-promotion business is the only way you'll ever go from 5 figures to 6 figures to 7 figures and even 8 or 9 figures. Elon Musk is not in the car business. Elon Musk is in the self-aggrandization business. He is a massive self-promoter. He is the P.T. Barnum of our time. What Musk is doing is not new, building rocket ships to go to Mars, building cars that run on electricity. There's nothing new there. Elon Musk is the new P.T. Barnum. Look at me. And he gets billions of dollars of free publicity by being in the self-promotion business. You think Gene Simmons of the rock band Kiss, you think that he's in the music business? You think that he's in the music business or the band business? He's in the self-promotion business. He's paid $150,000 to give a 1-hour speech. He has over 300 separate divisions of companies outside of the rock band. He's on his way to being a billionaire if he's not a billionaire already. But Gene Simmons, who started with 0 when he came to this country, has never, ever, ever been in the music business. I was never in the. People used to ask me, Michael, how's the insurance business? And I would say at the time, I have no idea. I'm in the entertainment business, I would tell them. That's the great story of the Rolex. The Rolex CEO, he went out to lunch with a client one time, and they sat down at lunch, and his guest said, well, tell me, how's the watch business? And the CEO looked at his guest and said, I have no idea. I'm not in the watch business. I'm in the luxury business. He could have even said he's in the ego business. He's in the abundance business. He's in the show-off business. But he certainly isn't in the watch business. So if you don't make this shift and you continue to be about your products and services, if you continue to be in the day-to-day grind, just remember you've hit the wall or you're going to hit the wall. This is why you're so tired and fatigued. This is why you fall out of love with your business, is because you're in the grind every day. So I started small. In the insurance business was the best example. When I was working for my dad that first year and a half, I had very little time. I was buried in the business as an employee. So what did I do? I would grind out 1 hour per day at lunchtime. So I would walk for an hour first thing in the morning. I didn't have any more time before work. So every day I would take my bag lunch and I would immediately drive down to the park, and I would park my car, and I would sit and I would eat, and I would study marketing. I would study insurance marketing. I really didn't know at the time how to sell insurance products, so I became a serious student. So an hour a day, 7 days a week, 7 hours as an employee. As soon as I bought the company a year and a half later, I was in charge. I then transitioned from that. I was the sales guy in-house. I was the closer. I was the rainmaker. So then I started dedicating 2 hours a day to the marketing of McLean Insurance. So I went from 1 hour a day to 2 hours. It's interesting, my income went from 30,000 to 35,000 a year to 40,000 to 45,000, and then I got to 50,000 where I could pay my bills. I was no longer in debt. I was just surviving. I was in a job at 50 grand when I started marketing 1 hour, then 2 hours. So then as the owner, I kept delegating. I hired a sales team, one person at a time, and I kept firing myself from any job but marketing. I kept firing myself from anything but marketing. I now was in the self-aggrandization business. I was now in the Michael McLean business. I was in the Michael McLean business. And if it wasn't about promotion or marketing or selling, I didn't touch it. We had 3 employees, and we had 4 employees, and we had 7 employees. Then we had 11 employees, all the way to 23 employees. And a full-time marketing director who took my ideas for being in the Michael McLean business, and she made them happen. She was one of my very first hires. I've had 3 marketing directors in the last 20 years, including Leanne and Marc-Andre. So I didn't hire a service rep. I didn't hire reception at the start. I hired somebody who could make my marketing ideas reality. I still don't know how to build any of that. I don't know how to send an email to thousands of people. I don't know how to post a YouTube video. I don't know how to build a website. I don't know how to, design a newsletter or a telegram. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. So I'm the writer and the speaker, and then they take care of the rest. I'm in the Michael McLean business. My job is to talk and to write. I'm in the 2 things business now that I'm in the Michael McLean business. If I'm not talking and if I'm not writing, we're not making money. So my job every day I get up, that I'm blessed with another day, is get walking and talking and get writing. And those are the 2 things I do every day now that I'm in the Michael McLean business. So it was interesting. I then got to spending 3 hours per day on marketing, which is 21 hours a week. 1 hour a day is 7 hours a week. Then I got to 2 hours a day. That was 14 hours a week working on my marketing. Then I got to 3 hours, and that was 21. And then I got to 4 hours, and 5 hours was where I really peaked. 5 times 7, 35 hours of marketing a week. Promotion, advertising, copywriting, sales. Anything that brought me money. And then I for the last, I don't know what I'd say, 10 years, maybe a little bit more, I'm at the 85% mark. So I started at 5% years ago. I got to 10%, I got to 15%, 20%. And then finally my life transformed, completely transformed. Good morning. Completely transformed when I got over the 30%. When I started marketing 2 hours a day, everything changed. I went from making 40 grand to 150 grand. When I started to get up to 50% of my time was into marketing, I went to $440,000 in income in 1 year. From 30 grand to 440 by being in the Michael McLean business for 2-3 hours a day. Over the last 10 or 12 years, I literally spend 85% of my time in the self-aggrandization business, passing out books, writing copy, shooting videos, talking and writing. And in the insurance business, my last 3 years running McLean Insurance, I got to that 85%. Where I was working 3, 4, 5 hours a day, sometimes as many as 7, not many though. It's hard to do more than 5 hours of uninterrupted work. It really is. 5 is next level. And then all of a sudden, I broke the 7 figures. I made 1.1 million, and then I made 1.3 million in 1 year, and then I made 1.3 million my final year. So from $30,000 to $1.3 million in personal income. And what's the only difference? I got out of the insurance business and I got in the self-aggrandization business and I got in the Michael McLean business and I stopped selling insurance policies and I got myself out of a high-paying job, and 85% of my time now was spent on the promotion of the Michael McLean business that I was in, which was McLean Insurance. That, my friend, is why I've always had a case of books in the back of my trunk of my vehicle. Everywhere I go, I'm in the Michael McLean business. The people at Dunkin' Donuts, the millionaires and billionaires that I meet in there, I have a conversation with them. I realize who they are. I hand them one of my physical books. A lot of times I'll autograph it. Inside is a business card that tells them to join my video email list, the things that you're watching, these videos that you're watching every day. All of our vendors here have books. My pool guy, the lady that cleans our house, all of my friends in Naples have a complimentary copy of my book. They all have t-shirts. I give away these t-shirts by the hundreds to people in my world. I leave my book in the library the other day. I left some copies just on the table when I was in there with Emery at math practice. We chartered a boat yesterday and went from Naples over to Marco Island. And what did I gift the captain and the lady who was his first mate? Wonderful people, retired military. That's their retirement, is chartering this massive boat. What did I gift them with? I gifted them each a copy of my book and a badass t-shirt. Everywhere I go, I leave them. Everywhere I go, I gift them. We have people over for a barbecue. I give them a copy of my book. We have people over. We go out to Ocean Prime the other night. What do I give the young waiter? He's about 25. I give him a copy of my book. There's guys that knock on our door, give them a book. Anybody and everybody who has the potential to be one of my elite clients. I don't just hand them out to everybody, but it's amazing. As soon as you hand a book to a new friend or a new connection, everything changes. Like, there's a reason I walk into Tim Hortons or into Dunkin' Donuts here in the States, and I don't even have to stand in line. They just have my coffee ready, so they pour it as soon as I walk in. It's because I hold doors, it's because I smile, it's because I get out of my vehicle, but it's also because I gave those girls a copy of my book. They got the nice badass t-shirt, which they love. That's the one I'm wearing. And if they read the book, great. If they don't read the book, it's still done its job. You frame yourself as a professional. You show that you're a giver, not a taker. You show that you're about abundance, not scarcity. And just the title of the book, How to Not Get Your Ass Kicked in Business and Life, it's my business card. I call my book the Thud Factor. The Thud Factor. Most people walk in with a business card. Most people, will give somebody their cell number. Most people say, look me up on Facebook or look me up on Instagram or any of that stuff that I don't participate in. For 19 years, I've been putting my book, thud, slam, boom. There's yours relentless's business card. So I show up quite differently than you do. I show up quite differently than 99.9% of the consultants and entrepreneurs. When everybody is, take down my cell number, when everybody's, playing the same game, I'm playing chess. Boom, here's a copy of my 300-page physical book. Whether they read it or is irrelevant. It gets put away, it gets put up on a shelf, it gets put on a coffee table, it gets remembered. And then wherever I go, and I never thought about this at the beginning, but I get the VIP treatment wherever I go. When I give my book to Emery's tennis teacher, when I give the book at the horse barn to everybody, Like all the people at the bar, and they're just blown away. You wrote a book? It's all about positioning, man, right? I'm in the Michael McLean business. People don't ask me, how's the barbershop business or how's the insurance business? They're just blown away. They're like, this guy is completely unique. So I'm like that sunrise behind me, completely unique. So it just changes everything when you gift somebody a book. You want to hang out around outstanding people, right? You want to upgrade your social circle. Well, the best way to do that is to talk to people, elite people. And when you find somebody, you have to work at relationships. Those people just don't knock on your door and say, hey, do you want to hang out? Top 1%ers don't just knock on your door and say, hey, you want to be my buddy? You have to recruit friends like that. You have to recruit friends. That's why I send those big red shock and awe FedEx packages. I send those to Tony Robbins. I send those to the top dogs in business. I send a box to Warren Buffett. You never know, right? I send a box to Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, with my books and my t-shirts and my newsletters. I just give it away with no expectation of ever hearing. But what you do hear, that can be a life changer for somebody. It could be an appearance on a podcast. It could be an interview, but it changes everything. So when you run into a high quality, high energy person, and you're developing a friendship, one of the first things I do, unabashed, I give them a copy of my book. And I give them one of these black t-shirts because most of my friends train, they work out. So they love these t-shirts. Well, man, I get the big handshake. Sometimes I get the hug, the whole thing. I've now completely changed in their eyes. I'm no longer just a guy. That's the guy that wrote the book. And that's what it's about, being in the Michael McLean business. It's interesting, the barbershop book I wrote, I sat down and I wrote 10 tips, haircut tips, and that became my book. Put it together in a little spiral thing, got it printed locally at a print shop. And within 7 days, I had a self-published book. It was more of a guide, but call it a book, that I could pass out that promoted our barbershop. But more importantly, it positioned us as the best. What other barbershop has a book, a free book? And what inside the book, it's a sales letter, right? It's a book disguised as a sales letter. And it's a sales letter disguised as a book. And then, Happy Easter. And so when people are reading it, they're getting educated about all the other services, like, the stuff that we used to sell, the hot towel shaves, the products, the merchandise, have your groom party here, that kind of stuff. So it was a sales letter described as a book. I did the same thing in the hockey business. I just put together a whole bunch of things. And I just made, they were newsletters that Marc-Andre had created. And I just I repurposed them into a binder. And boom, that was my hockey book. I'm the owner that wrote a book on sports marketing. I'm the hockey coach that wrote a book on hockey coaching. That book was just my drills, my top 100 hockey drills. Well, I have 10,000 hockey drills. I just put the top 100, photocopied them, put them into a little binder, and boom, I'm a hockey coach, but I'm also now an author. I'm a hockey franchise owner, but I'm also a franchise owner, author. So in all those cases, I was in the Michael McLean business, the self-aggrandization business. So you'll have to decide. You'll never get to the next level if you don't have this conversation with yourself. You'll never get to the 7-figure level. You'll never get to the 8-figure level. You'll never become truly independently wealthy unless you screw your head on straight like I did 20 years ago, when I said to myself, you know what? I don't love being in the self-promotion business. I want to make my money in the dark. I want to live under the radar. I don't want to be a recognizable person. I just want to be rich. And then I grew up mentally, because that's really a childish childish mindset. And I looked around and I studied the Thomas Edisons, the Henry Fords, the Winston Churchills, the Margaret Thatchers, the Ronald Reagans, the Donald Trumps, the Elon Musks, the P.T. Barnums, the Andrew Carnegies. And I noticed the one characteristic is they were all in the self-aggrandization business. They were all in the self-promotion business. And once I got okay with that, I still don't love it. I'd rather not have to shoot videos. I'd rather not have to talk about myself in a book. I'd rather not have to write a monthly newsletter. I'd rather not have to share my life and my family and my parents' stories and my failures. I'd rather not have to admit my weaknesses and my shortcomings. I'd rather not have to be vulnerable. But I also want to be, I want it to be successful. I want it to be rich. I want it to be wealthy. So that's the piece of the puzzle that's missing for so many. I had to man up. I had to say, you know what? It's going to take brass balls to get this job done. And then I got more comfortable. It wasn't easy in the beginning writing about myself. It wasn't easy in the beginning sharing emails about myself and experiences. It certainly wasn't easy sharing my failures and my mistakes. It wasn't easy being vulnerable. And then like anything else, as you get used to writing about it, about your family, your stories, your experiences as in your life, all of a sudden you gain confidence and you get better at it. And that's what I became. I became better at it by doing it. How do you become a copywriter? You write. How do you become a marketer? You market. How do you become a golfer? You golf. How do you become a piano player? You practice the piano. How do you become good at math? You practice math every day. It's no different in the self-aggrandization business, the self-promotion business. You have to get okay with being criticized. You got to develop some alligator skin, which I have. I don't care anymore what these people that don't matter in the least to me. They're not going to matter 10 minutes from now. They're not going to matter 10 years from now. If I have the love and support of my queen and my daughter and a handful of good friends and my business team, what do I care about haters or what do I care about critics or non-believers? They're not going to have a vote. They don't have a vote. They're never going to be our customer. They're never going to be our client. So you got to develop thick skin and you got to get a mindset that why are you worrying about people that simply do not matter, that will never matter in your life? And instead claim your personal sovereignty through personal financial independence. How the hell can you be happy if you're always grinding it out? How can you have any freedom or autonomy if you're always just paying the bills? You're 2 weeks or 2 months away from, being broke. How in the world can you serve other people when you're always struggling to survive yourself? Happiness, money doesn't buy happiness, it buys freedom. Kevin O'Leary says it best. He's like, he goes, everybody, Joe Average says, money doesn't buy happiness. He's like, happiness doesn't buy money. Happiness doesn't buy money. Money, like my dad always says, is about a freedom. It's about living life on your own terms. And if you don't have it, man, it's a long grind. You're always carrying that dark shadow with you. So if you want to step out from the crowd, you got to step out from the crowd and you got to get in the self-aggrandization business. You got to do it like a Gene Simmons. You got to do it like a Steve Jobs. You got to do it like a Vince McMahon. You got to do it like, a Napoleon Hill, all those guys. The only reason you know about that book is because he was associated with Carnegie and that he was a massive self-promoter. Massive self-promoter. One of the greatest salespeople in the world and a massive self-promoter, of course, is Tony Robbins. everybody talks about Tony's teachings, which I'm very familiar with personally, does an amazing job. But Tony, first and foremost, is in the Tony Robbins business. He is in the Tony Robbins business, and that's why he's the top 1% of 1% in personal development. So that, my friend, is why I have a box full of my books in the back of my car. When I was in the insurance business, I used to get 1,000 of my books printed off, and it was an insurance guidebook. 10 ways to get the best value for your insurance dollar. It's out of print now, and it was a book I just put together with some information and gave it a sexy title. And I would print 1,000 of these at a time, and I would keep them in my vehicle and in my apartment. And I would literally pass out 1,000 books a month. That's 12,000 books a year, per year, physical books into the hands of prospects, people I met at a restaurant, a coffee house, at the arena, at the horse barn, at church, no matter what. Here's my boom. That's my Thud Factor business card. So 12,000 books a year, and I did it for 17 glorious years. It's a lot of physical books. 1,000 I would pass out. So now I remember when I had my Renegade insurance marketing, same thing. I would get 500 or 1,000 books printed and just give them away. Don't forget, I'm putting my book in all my quote kits. I put them in all my shock and awe packages. Somebody says, they apply for my Mastermind now, that I just ship them a package, red box with my books in there. So just constantly passing out those books. And it's amazing. How have the books in the trunk of my car done? They've done extremely well. I've had guys that I would have never ever attracted on it through a magazine ad. I would have never got them through any advertisement. I just would not have. And because I gifted them a book and a t-shirt when we were talking or meeting or connecting, some of those guys are now in my mastermind. Like 2 years later, 3 years later, I have a couple of those guys that are in my mastermind. They're at the highest level because I opened up the trunk of my SUV and said, here's a copy of my new book. If I just walked away, those guys aren't in my world. So how does it work? It works quite fine. I'm sure P.T. Barnum kept a trunk full of something for him too. I'm sure Elon Musk has something to take with you when you meet him as well. All the greats are in the self-aggrandization business. So that's it. I was never ever in the insurance business. I was never in the barbershop business, never in the hockey business, and I was never in the consulting business. I've always been and continue to be in the Michael McLean business. Hey, what's in the trunk of your car? Is it full of your newsletters? Is it full of your books? Is it full of your tip sheets? Is there stuff in there, t-shirts, pens, things that can separate you from the crowd, that can, give that law of reciprocity working for you, where you give with no expectation of receiving? That's my life over the last 19 years. It makes me magnetic to money. It makes me magnetic to success. It makes me magnetic to good luck, because I give without any thought of receiving. I just give, and then I make myself magnetic to all the rest of it. All my neighbors around here, 5 houses on both sides and 3 across the street, we've met these wonderful people, and they all have a copy of my book. Krista meets them usually at pickleball, but then I'll meet them a couple days later, right? And I'm an introverted guy. I'm a private guy. I'm a quiet guy. I'm a shy guy. Believe it, I'm a shy guy. And for me, just giving them, like a book and a t-shirt, man, all of these people here, it just changes everything. It frames you as different, as unique. And that's the name of the game, right? So when I look at all these homes here, like we've only lived here in this new home for 4 months, but one of the very first things I did is once I met these people, I was just like, oh, by the way, here's a copy of my brand new book. I don't care if they read it. They probably don't read it. They probably don't read a page, but the impact is made. Plus, I found the t-shirt is fun. It's something they end up wearing. Krista sees people up at the tennis courts and the pickleball courts and people, the friends of hers at the gym, and she's like, oh, they're wearing their t-shirt, their badass t-shirt. I'm like, talk about being omnipresent. That's what we want to be. I need to serve. My mission, by the way, is to serve 1 million men. Okay, that's my life's work now. I want to help 1 million men build the championship world of their dreams. I want to help you build the championship world of your dreams. And I want you to do it by becoming the best version of yourself. I want to help you build the world of your dreams by you becoming the best version of yourself. So 1 million people is a lot. So when you think about it, as I tell Emery with her flyers, if she gets a 3% response or a 4% response out of handing out 100 flyers, we're doing them last night on the weekend. Everybody else is drinking beer and hanging out, and Emery and I are passing out flyers here in the neighborhood. On a Saturday night on Easter weekend, my kid comes up and she says, Daddy, would you come with me so I can pass out 15 flyers? I said, absolutely, that's a hell yeah. And we passed out 15 flyers, and she had a brand new client yesterday. She got $10 cash on Good Friday for walking a dog. Kid is just piling up the money when she's here. She's just piling up the cash, and it's all because of flyers. So she got a response of what, 3%? 3 people out of 100 became her dog walking clients. Well, if I do the same thing with a book, let's say I get a 2% response. That means to help 1 million people over the next 10 years, I'm probably going to have to hand out 10 million books. Think about that. So if I hand out 1 million books, if I just get 1 million books, then I'm going to end up, with 10,000 guys, or even less. Could be 1,000 guys, whatever the rate is, whatever response I get. So that's why I keep those in the back of the truck. I need to make sure that 10 million men that are my prospects, and some women that need to hear my message, they hear it, and they hear it through my book. So I mean, this is my mindset. This is why I was passing out thousands of books a month. This is why I do what I do, is I need to be omnipresent, and I need to pass out these things to people, and you never know who becomes your high-end client. But man, if I want to help 1 million men, I gotta shoot thousands of videos. I gotta mail millions of newsletters. I gotta mail hundreds of thousands of telegrams. I need to sell millions of books. I need to gift millions of books. I need to write for thousands of hours just to get to that million mark of impacting 1 million men. So that's why you have to be omnipresent. That's why. Like Grant Cardone says, it takes 10 years to become relevant in your marketplace. 10 years on YouTube, 10 years shooting videos, 10 years of direct response. And you can do it in less if you're a small fish in a big pond, like I was in the insurance business, the barbershop business, the coaching business, the window washing business. But look at those eggs. Emery's so proud. The Easter Bunny was here. Look at those amazing eggs out front. We love Easter here. The hunt is big. We burn the boats. We burn the boats to take the island. And Emery loves the eggs. We just don't put candy around. We put clues. Krista does 12 clues, and they're brain twisters. We don't just have, candy sitting on a chair. Emery has to figure it out. 12 clues. Her little brain is like smoking when we're doing this to find the next thing. She's got to solve the riddle, next riddle, solve the riddle. So anyways, you need to be in the Michael McLean business. And my top guys are like that when I'm working with them. Like Billy Wagner's in the Billy Wagner business. Bill Gaw is in the Bill Gaw business. David Linton, the flooring king, is not in the flooring business. He's in the David Linton business. My friend Beth Davis is in the Beth Davis business. Okay, you think Willie Miranda? He's in the Willie Miranda business. And this is what you need to be doing. Like even the guys in our mastermind, like my friend Tom Burns, who owns Burns Jewelers. Tom he thrives when he's in the Tom Burns business. When, you know, Jeff Dean is in the Jeff Dean business. And these guys, this is what they're learning. They're transitioning from doing the thing to being the practitioner, to being in love with their products and services. They're transitioning now. They're changing their mind into being into the marketing business. They're no longer the doer of the thing. They're the marketer of the thing. Not the doer of the thing, the marketer of the thing. Get and stay in the self-aggrandization business. And you need to be spending no less than 70% of your time on marketing. 70%, 70. So you got work to do. I am being censored on anti-social media and Big Brother Tech. They do not like my message of pro-America, pro-Canada. They do not like my pro-capitalism message. They do not like my pro-family views. They do not like my pro-personal sovereignty views at all. They do not like my candid language. They do not like my military support, my police support, my firefighter support. They don't like anything about me, actually. There's nothing they like about me. So this is going on with Facebook and YouTube, Facebook in the past, YouTube now, the World Wide Web. So my days on the World Wide Web are numbered. So that's okay, because I do most of my best work off the grid. I do it through physical newsletters, telegrams. My mastermind trainings are on private. They're through our school platform. They're not on Zoom or any of that stuff. My emails are through a private company, nothing to do with big tech now. So I'm preparing to be, canceled on the World Wide Web, and especially through big tech and social media. So if you want to continue to receive my daily videos, maybe you don't. If you want to continue to hear from me on a daily basis, well, you better get your ass in gear and get me your fax number and your mailing address. If you give me your fax number, I'll put you on my weekly fax for free. It's some of my very best money-making, marketing, health, and relationship mental training stuff. I can share balls to the wall because it's off the grid. It's a fax. You need to send Leanne today your fax number. Leanne at badassmillionaire.com. Her email is below this video. And also, you need to send, if we don't have your physical mailing address, we need your mailing address to send you special reports, updates. 95% of it is meat and potatoes content, marketing, money, winning, wealth, all this kind of stuff. So if you want that stuff, then man, you got to make sure we have your fax number, and make sure that we have your full mailing address, which you can send to Leanne as well. If you don't have a fax machine, then get with it and buy MFax, which is below. It's dirt cheap, and it allows my faxes to come to your email box. My faxes will come to your email box, and you can print them off. So if you don't have a fax machine, get MFax. Don't be such a cheapskate. My God, it's some of the best information off the grid that I share. If you like my videos, you'll fucking well love my faxes. You'll love my telegrams. You'll love my newsletters. You'll love my special reports, because I'm off the grid. So get your fax number to Leanne today. Get your mailing address to Leanne today. And if not, then soon, if not today or tomorrow or next week, it'll be goodbye. My days are numbered. I am being completely censored by all social media. I have all my advertisements have been banned. My videos, some of my videos have been banned. and it's just a matter of time. So if you want to continue this relationship and you like my daily content, I'm not even charging you for it, then I need your fax number and I need your mailing address. And the last thing I'll say is pay it forward. Okay, pay the damn fee. Okay, I am putting these videos together every day. I don't miss a day, 365, and I don't care if you buy anything. I don't care if you buy my book. I don't care if you join my mastermind. I don't fucking care. I don't care. And I just want to help a million men. So I do these for free. You don't have to buy anything. You do not have to buy anything. You get my emails, you get my videos, and I do this stuff for free. So sure, I get lots of clients out of it. That's the big point. But I don't care if you join or don't join, but pay it forward, pay the fee. Who else in your world needs to hear these videos? Who else in your world, your employees, your adult children, your teenagers, your friend, who else needs to hear these daily videos? Who needs this message in their world? Well, share it. Share it on social media, share my emails, forward them. I want you to share the good. I'm a good news merchant, and I want you to share my good news. So who in your life also needs to hear these messages, and make sure they join my list, forward them these emails, comment on these YouTube videos for as long as I can do them. I'm ready for when YouTube pulls the carpet. I'm ready. We have our own video hosting platform. You see both sides of it here. I don't need YouTube. I do not need YouTube. I do not need Facebook. I do not need any of it. I am ready to go 100%. So it's just a matter if, it's just a matter of when, but I'm totally ready, totally ready. So pay it forward, pay the fee. I don't charge you a nickel for this kind of stuff, for my daily emails, for my videos, for some of my special trainings, even some of my webinars. But your responsibility is to be a giver. Be a giver, not just a taker. Don't be some scarcity tomato can who hoards everything to yourself. Be a giver. Share good news. Be a good news merchant. And anybody in your life that needs to see these videos, anybody in your world that could benefit from hearing this message, this kick-ass message, this balls to the wall message every day, share these videos and share these emails. I appreciate it, and they'll appreciate it. That's it for today. Man, you are in the marketing business. You are in the self-aggregation business. Get the books in the truck, get the newsletters, get the reports, become omnipresent in your area. And remember, you're in the marketing business, you're in the self-promotion business, never in the doer of the thing business. Become omnipresent in your tiny little world. Become omnipresent in your part of your niche. Makes all the difference in the world. What do you got there, sweetheart?
Render eggs.
Ooh, today, as I'm shooting this video on Easter Sunday morning, I've already got in my 15,000 steps in the dark earlier, and we're gonna have an egg hunt. Look at the eggs beside the eggs. Have you seen that? Look at that. No, but look at the eggs, the little eggs. Wow. The Easter Bunny has been to the McLean Ranch. Good stuff. Hey, 2 words that changed my life. What were we doing last night? Saturday night?
Passing out flyers.
Passing out flyers for what? To run a soup kitchen?
No.
To run a halfway house?
No.
To do what?
Dog walking.
And what does dog walking bring you?
Money.
Bring you money. Nice. How much money did you make yesterday on the Saturday?
$10.
$10. Cash or check?
Cash.
Do you offer Visa?
No.
Good job. Hey, 2 words. Happy Easter to everybody. They'll see this video long past Easter. 2 words that changed my life. 2 words that you're changed. Emery, what are the 2 words?
Be relentless.
See you guys.